Greetings all, Shane Bruce, Restomod Daisy, and we've got an update for you. Earlier in the week, we posted a video about a customer's gun that was sent down for rebuild, and we've got our job done. So what we're going to do is review what we did to the gun and give you a good peek at it so you can see the differences. Of course, you'll have to go back and look at the other video to really understand that. But in terms of what we actually did, this gun showed up with a broken wrist. That's been glued up, clamped and glued up. Now you can still see the seam. Can't do much about that, but it's not wobbly anymore. There was a big blob of blackness right there on that wrist, on the buttstock. Got that fixed. And as you can see, the Red Ryder imprint is looking good. When the gun showed up, it had this lever on it, which is broken. Fortunately, because of the incredibly vast inventory of old Daisy parts that I've got, I was able to pull one out of stock. It was exactly the same lever. I have normally pull the paint off these and hand file them so that the casting seams are gone. It makes for a smoother operating leather. That was installed. When I got the gun, it was actually shooting pretty good once we got some oil in it. But as part of the process, we pulled the main compression cup seal and the abutment seal and replaced them with new units. The shot tube had been malfunctioning because it was missing a spring. That's been replaced. And at Restomod, we like to do this to our shot tubes. We like to polish the end cap of the muzzle so that you can see a little bronze ring right there. I don't know if that's showing up very well, but it's a nice look. And that's something that's unique to the bottle caps. So now we also pulled a rather rusty, crusty barrel band off and fire blued it to match the fire blue that is now on the receiver. Now I'm going to try and pivot this so you can maybe get a good look at the color play. Like right down here, we've got a bit of a straw and some purple. The process itself involves heating up the steel to about 550 or so degrees, at which point in time the steel will develop an oxide coat, typically a bluish color, sometimes other shades and tints. I do this kind of work with a propane torch, so I don't get uniform heating across the surface. But this is much better than the bubbled rusty paint that used to be on the gun. Now, for the really fun part, after we got the gun put together again to do some test firing, we did some test firing. So I wanted to show this difference here. This customer has also requested that the bottle cap be returned, but he also wanted the new Model 25 magazine to be installable, and that requires a spacer, a little piece of copper. But basically they swap back and forth. So let's take a look and see what she's running with the bottle cap. With the bottle cap in place, the gun can do 66 meters a second. That works out to about 220, 222 feet a second, something like that. All right, so now we'll do that one more time because there'll be a variation. So the second round is 67 meters a second, slightly faster, maybe 2 1/4. It's not unusual for the guns to fluctuate up and down a few feet a second. Now we're going to pull the bottle cap off and install the Model 25 tube. And what I really like about the Model 25 tube is that it gives you an increase in velocity. Let's make sure we got all our loose BBs out there. Uh-oh. Well, look at that. The spring came out. That'll have to be repaired. Oh, and that's why. You learn stuff every day. We're not quite done with the job yet, but on with the demo. So we take we take our copper washer, and it just slips over the end of the muzzle. Easy to take on, easy to take off. Insert the Model 25 tube. Now lock this down. Unlike the Model 20, the original bottle cap, it will not spin because it's threaded on its entire shank. On bottle cap daisies, there will always be a blank spot and it threads, and that's so that the tube can rotate once it gets clear of the abutment washer. And that's important because on guns like Lightning loaders, this tab has to be in a particular spot. On guns that are just side loaders with buttons, they have to be in a particular spot. So you have to be able to rotate them around to get clearance. The end result of that is that these shot tubes do not secure as firmly as the Model 25 tube. Another advantage with the Model 25 tube, since it's new construction, it's got a seamless shot tube. Let's take a look and see what this one shoots. Okay, so we jump from 66 to 82 meters a second. That's a lot of speed increase. with just subbing out a shot tube. And you also have the fact that it's no longer a lightning loader or a rattle trap. 75 meters a second, still better than 64, 78, and some variations. So, in my opinion, it's always cool to be able to utilize your rattle trap tube whenever you want, but these Model 25 tubes are much better for shooting. Anyway, the gun is about ready to go. Obviously, since we discovered we have a broken spring, we have to replace that. And there's still a bit of a shoot-in period that we're going to keep the gun here for. I'd like to get a couple of hundred rounds through it, make sure there's no other issues that are going to affect its working for the customer when he gets it back. That's it for the review of the restored Model 1938 Red Ryder. This is Shane Bruce with Restomod Daisy, signing off.